Hello. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's round of readings. For the main part of the readings, the tarot part, I'm using Awakened Tarot. And it's by Team Rive. There's a website on here. It's at the bottom. At the bottom, I want to say it's MYRV. No, am I saying it wrong? MYRYVE.com. Right there at the bottom if you want to find more information about it. Hopefully it's focusing. And there's that information if you want to freeze frame and see what that's about. Supportive Oracle cards. One of my favorite decks. Magical Spell cards by Lucy Cavendish. Illustrated by Jesse Reish. And websites are... I think it's Hay House, right? I'm just a little bit slow. Yeah, hayhouse.com. They're at the bottom. hayhouse.com. If you look up the deck, though, you should be able to find it wherever you want to find it. And last but not least, I have to find a different way to do this part, but I'm still doing it the same way. But thank you for the person who gave me the idea. I keep thinking about it. I'm just not sure how I'm going to do it right now. The dice I use are from the dice shop, mathartfun.com if you want to get them. They're numbered dice, so it's like 1 to 22 for the major arcana. I substitute 22 for 0 for the Fool, and I use a 14-sided dice for the minor arcana, and then I use a 4-sided dice to choose the element. So hopefully you can see that. Math Art Fun, I think is what it is. Hopefully it's not glaring. Alright. That being said, if you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. It's james4astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. All right, let's go on to your reading. Hello, Taurus. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Taurus? There's the Wheel of Fortune. It's not that bad. It's not like it's the worst card in the deck. But when I see it come out for like an earth sign, I'm just like, come on, man. Did Virgo get that too? I want to say Virgo got that too. It's not funny, but it's kind of like, sometimes I think of that and I'm like, Earth doesn't really care for that usually. But also, Earth is realistic. If it's there, then it's there. Oh. Very interesting. That's... You got the 8 of Swords with the Sun card, and I'm just like, that's an interesting way to look at that. Okay. I do think there's a lot of good going on here, but we gotta get into something realistic to start this off. Oh... There's been a void. There has been a void. So, this depends on you. There's a void, though. It could be, like, not feeling like the job you're at works out correctly. It could be relationship isn't working out or hasn't worked out with that category. Maybe friendships haven't been the best lately. I feel like for some of you, you've kind of had like a solitude way of doing things. So if it's work, maybe you've been doing things by yourself for a while. Relationships, could be family, whatever it is. I feel like I've been on the outside, and I've been very slow moving to change that. In fact, I'd be like, I'm more kind of holding the level. I'm more like holding the status quo. I'm not really changing it. And I've kind of been diligent with that. Just keeping it where it was. Maybe, probably. Maybe it's been very lacking, but maybe you've been actively, purposely keeping it that way. Either consciously or subconsciously. I feel like for some of you, you'll look back and be like, well, I made certain choices because I didn't want to be a part of that or that or that. So maybe you're more active in keeping it out than not. Anyway, whatever the subject was, that's changing. And you do have the chance to block it again if you want. So whatever this is, whatever this category is, you've kept it low, you've been on the outside. Could be friendships, family connections, relationships of any sort. Could be not connecting with people at work, like keeping coworkers off to their own. You stay over here, they stay over there. It could be stuff. I feel like for most of you, it's some version of a relationship with people. For most of you. You have something coming in. It's coming in with the Wheel of Fortune, the Ace of Wands, but these two I'm noticing. Something good. I feel like it is something good. And history might be the problem here. Yeah, it is. Okay. Even though there's something good going on here, history has the Devil with the Three of Swords. There's the Six of Cups showing up over here too. I'll show that in a minute. But this, I feel like I'm worried about this. This is what I'm worried about. I've gone through this before. And maybe there's been something really rough that's happened. And you're like, I don't want to be involved in that again. And maybe you're a little jaded, kind of like, sooner or later these people screw me over anyway. Or maybe you have something where you might be feeling like there's good people out there, but I'm not going to find them. I don't know. Some people have that feeling. If that hits, it hits. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. But there might be something kind of like, I'm looking at my track record, and if there's the wrong one, I'll find them in 5 seconds flat. There's history here. This is holding you back. It's holding you back. And it's making you very gun-shy. It's making you want to kind of block it. Kind of like, no, I know how this works out for me. I feel like you're not giving yourself some credit also, just to be fair. You've learned a lot. You've learned a lot. You know what to look out for, and you're not about to put up with certain things again. So if that's a history thing with you where you've like, I've been burned before, you've learned a lot. And it's kind of like once you realize certain behaviors are bad behaviors, maybe when you were younger, you kind of were like, that's not the best, but it's not that bad. At this point in life, you're like, that's not the best, and that it actually is pretty bad. That's a precursor to worse behavior. It's kind of like when you see like flies or birds. When you see birds circling around a spot, you're like, oh, that doesn't seem like it's a good thing. And you're like, if you go over there, you're going to be like, oh, wow, this is horrible. This is a really bad thing. They're like, it's a precursor to something worse. Something like that. Something's coming in. Somebody wants to come into your life. It's a good energy. It's coming in very positive, very nurturing. Comes in out of nowhere. That random energy is not usually something that an earth sign, and you're an earth sign, Taurus is an earth sign, not usually something that they like. Some of you do. Some of you have some very... You can have any rising sign, there's 12 of them, right? And I've seen that there are some Taurus that are very open to change once in a while, within reason. But your flavor of Taurus depends mostly on this one, if this is hitting or not, obviously. I feel like whatever this is, it comes in fast, comes in out of nowhere. I do feel like you're doing something with this person. It's not about giving it a chance to start. I don't think it's that. It's more about, once you're going through the process, being emotionally connected with it and really evaluating, like, do I want to give this a chance? I could be happier. It's also realizing when this person is around you, you have two emotions, I feel, going at the same time. I'm enjoying it, so I'm happy, but I'm also nervous, and I'm a little paranoid. So, a little nervously paranoid but your history makes sense why. It makes sense why. It's just kind of like, okay, there's issues here. And it's kind of like, I don't know whether my gut instinct is warning me, oh, don't do it. Or if it's just like a survival instinct where I'm just like, before anybody has a chance to cause you issue, don't let them. Which is also cheating you out of happiness. Cheating you out of a lot of happiness. Whatever subject this is. I'm going to kind of add this in. I don't have any codes for BetterHelp.com, but I believe Katie Morton does. I don't know her at all, but she has a very popular YouTube channel. If you look up BetterHelp or you search it on YouTube, I'm sure you can find a YouTuber that has some type of code where you can get a discount. It's a therapy thing where you can do it anywhere, which you can get that sounding board to somebody to help you understand, like, are these really red flags, or how can I work past this? How can I make my life better? If you're struggling, I would highly recommend that. Another thing, like, I'm a more do-it-yourself type person. I'm a big fan of Paul McKenna. The book is How to Mend Your Broken Heart, something like that. He co-writes it with somebody. I don't know the other guy's name. I use those exercises, and it's about getting over past relationships, but it also heightens like your awareness of red flags. When I've used that book personally, I have removed people from my life that were not good for me, but I've also been more sensitive and more aware of like, okay, I used to think that was like that flag was a dancing flag, like, hey, let's dance, let's have fun. And now I'm like, nope, that's a red flag. That's a run. That's not a dance flag. That's a runaway flag. So I've used that. Those are some ideas. Maybe if you're struggling with this, to that, and you are open to getting some help for it, if that's applicable for your situation. Because there's good reason. If this is hitting, there's good reason you feel the way you do. It's not like it just came out of nowhere. You're coming to this part where you're going to see that this is a good situation and you don't know what to do with it. This person is in your life for a little while. They could stay for a long while, possibly even permanently for the rest of this life. Or they could go away. It's up to you. You're going to hit this moment where you're realizing I have to make a choice. And I don't know. And it's like, I feel like no matter what choice I make, I'm not sure that I'm going to be happy either way. If I exit this situation, I feel like I'm going to be sad that they're gone. If I stick with it, I feel like I'm never going to be at peace with it because I'm nervous. I feel like I'm between a rock and a hard place. That's why I gave you the other information I just did. The question is, what have you decided to do with it? There's advice here. Don't do this. They're saying this is not a good idea. So just something to consider not doing. It's just kind of like, I'll just roll with it for now and see what happens. Because I feel like there's things under the surface. You have serious things that happened, I feel. And it's going to erode the situation. It's going to erode the foundation. And the situation will have a shelf life if you handle it that way. Like, oh, I guess I'll just take it day by day and we'll just see what happens. I just feel like that's not going to go well for you in the long run. And if there's one thing I really do believe in Taurus, you're invested in the long-term success. You stick around for a long time, but for the success of it, and this isn't going to get you that success you want. Their advice here is to acknowledge that you're stuck. See, when I saw these two together, and I'm just like, okay, this is an interesting one. You're trapped. I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't. That's how I feel. I'm stuck, but I can and I will be happy. What do I need to do to make that happen? What do I need to do to process this? What happened in the past that I need to process through to make peace with so it doesn't destroy my future? What do I need to do? And it's up to you how you do it, but that's the advice, to find a way to like look at the past. If you use some type of therapist, that's highly recommended. If you use self-help books, but it's kind of like finding a way that empowers you to deconstruct the past and realize that was that person, they were the bad people, and these were some red flags that I didn't know that those were red flags, but I know now, and I'm stronger now, and I can have confidence now that I can trust my feelings. I can trust when I care about somebody. I know how far to take that and how to be with that in a positive way and not feel like at any moment something can come out of left field and devastate my life. It's acknowledging that I'm trapped and that I can't have what I want at the same time. I just gotta find a way to do it. Even if it's self-help books, whatever works for you, whatever makes sense to you. YouTube has a lot of different people on there. I would be very careful about life coaches. I highly recommend BetterHelp.com because I believe that's regulated. That's why I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt. Be careful with life coaches. There are some good ones out there and there are some bad ones out there, and I don't think that's regulated at all. Just be very careful. Always step back and think for yourself if this makes sense or not. I don't know. I'm just getting this really... I heard about that a while ago. You got to be careful. Like, that's one reason I don't do life coaching, because it makes me nervous. Like, I feel like people buy too much into that. I can read your cards for you and I can tell you what I'm seeing. I can give you ideas sometimes, but like, that life coach thing, if somebody's really good at it, they won't try to control your life. They'll give you ideas and they'll be open to you walking away when you need to walk away. But if somebody's making you feel like you have to stay with them or they're controlling your life, that's a football field sign of a red flag. I'm just saying. Just be careful. Just please be careful. Going forward, you can be happy. It's going to take some work sorting things out. Taurus puts in the work. I feel like you guys do. Once you make up your mind that you're going to do it, you do it. That's how I feel about Taurus. Maybe I'm jaded. I don't know why. I just like Taurus. I just always have liked Taurus. Even before I knew I knew there were certain people in my life that I just automatically liked, and I never understood why. And then years later, I realized, well, they were that energy. I have no idea why. I'm just putting it out there. So maybe I am biased, so I don't want to be too ridiculous. But all you have to do is put in the work. Give it a chance to say, it's the imagination card here is really good for you because I got to put in the work to figure out what's not making sense. Even if there's some of you out there like, I don't know why I've always had problems with this subject in my life, but I always had. Maybe you're one of these people who don't remember a lot of your childhood or certain parts of your life. There's probably things there, but like if that's the case, I highly, highly recommend BetterHelp.com to help you find a therapist or whatever works for you. Just find a therapist, whatever works for you, man. Y'all. You can be happy. It's going to take some work, but you can definitely be happy. You can have what you want. You have what it takes. You're more than intellectually adept to make this happen. I feel like I don't know why I'm going down this road. Taurus usually takes things in slowly and puts them together in pieces. You are very intelligent, but sometimes people get this weird idea that Taurus isn't. I don't understand that personally because you take things and you build it and you hold it and you build it and you build it and when you know you're talking about something, you know what you're talking about, and you talk about it at the level you need to based on what you're dealing with. You people are very smart, but I keep getting like other people judge you in a weird way as if you can only handle so much. You can handle a lot. You definitely have this. So if somebody else talks down to you or makes you feel like you can't handle certain concepts, walk away from them. You can. Just because you need a foundation for things to make sense, there's nothing wrong with that. This just means it's going to be that much stronger for you when you get to the level you need to. You can definitely put this together. You can definitely make this work. So if somebody's talking down to you and making you, or giving you that impression like you can't handle this, you totally can. You just got to do it on your terms. I don't know where that came from. It came from the side, like if somebody's treating you like you're not intelligent enough to do it, you are. You're more than intelligent. You got this. Don't let somebody else's opinion direct your life like that. It might be one step at a time. It might be one slow step at a time. But definitely, as long as you get where you want to be, one slow step at a time works. You know what I'm saying? Can you give me like a little bit more on that before I talk about this? I got the last card here. Is it going to stop? Justice and the Seven of Wands. Other people are going to have to be willing to let down their guard, and they're going to have to work with you a little bit if they expect to stay in your life. I don't know if they're going to like that, but like, this isn't like your last chance. I also want to put that out there. This is a good chance. This is not your last chance. This could be a springboard for you to start correcting something and to put something in perspective that works for you versus accepting where it's been. So this is a good chance. This is not your last chance. So if you decide, if it goes so far and you put a lot of work in and then for some reason, whatever this connection is, it falls apart, this is not your last chance. But this may help you heal and grow to a part where you're at peace when it does walk away. So like I'm going to give a quick analogy of like maybe you had a romantic relationship that ended really, really bad in the past. Maybe this is a romantic relationship coming in. And they have to meet you halfway to stay in your life. It may end, but it doesn't have to end in a devastating way. You might have a positive ending where it's kind of like we leave on peaceful terms and I don't feel like the whole world has just blown up in my face. Maybe I don't want that relationship to end, but at least this new time it ends and it doesn't feel as devastating or as horrifying as it was in the past. It's not your last chance. It's a good chance. But just keep that in mind too. This is not your last. So it's not like you're putting all your eggs in one basket. Let's just, just in case that makes a difference. Are we done? I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.